Hello everyone, my name is Brian. I'm currently a senior at KCIS and I'm currently committed to Rice as a business major. I think it's mainly based on like my lack of experience in terms of like knowing the specific cultures or like specific things that each college want. So I think like having an external counselor really helped me navigate through these difficulties. For example, like there's like a lot of different cultures in terms of business schools. Some of them are more focused on like networking and stuff, and they have a huge alumni network. So mentioning alumni network might be like a very beneficial part in their essays. For example, in colleges like USC and stuff like that, they might be focused more on the alumni network, while on other schools might focus more on terms of like your own academic like achievements. So therefore, to pick what activities are important is really what I think is difficult, and that I think external like counselors like Pano can provide me in terms of guidance. Yeah, so I think the first one will be my podcast. I think the podcast really was like a game changer in terms of how not only just like application wise, but also my personal growth as well, because through my podcast, I not only like sort of have to analyze all these different sort of financial news on my own, but like as I branched forward, I also started to begin to like interview other people that might be in the industry to sort of help me align more with my major and also my ultimate career goals, and also sort of impacted my decision in choosing my college in the end. I did a lot of volunteering work throughout high school, and I think the main thing for me was that I was able to find like a very niche community. It prompted me to sort of establish different sort of platforms and collaborations with visually and auditory impaired schools to recruit some tutors from like our school and other schools to teach them English. In terms of transition towards like the English platform itself, both me and my parents basically contacted some of the resource center at these schools that target these like visually impaired or auditory impaired students, and to sort of work out a plan so we can sort of tutor them after class. There was one of those schools that hosting these exchange programs with other like students that are also visually impaired from other countries, like say Japan. And so through the English platform, that was specifically targeted towards these cultural exchange programs. They were able to sort of interact with like foreign students and to sort of have like a new perspective around the world. I think the last key is to always sort of giving back to the community itself. Like it's sort of like volunteering, but in different ways. For example, I attended the International Economic Olympiad as a national contestant. So after like successfully like competing there, the main thing I usually do after like in my junior and senior year was generally like attending and help proctoring some of these like national rounds, and also provide some guidance on business cases. And I also spoke on some webinars hosted by the IO itself to share more about my own experience in business case, to just in general just share more about my own experience to help like the younger generation. Yeah, so I actually work with Pano starting junior year summer. I think it's mainly the suggestions of like specific activities or competitions that I might not previously thought of, because initially like the main reason I came to Pano was to focus more in terms of like college application process and stuff like that. I didn't like sort of expect that there might be like a lot of different activities or like these competitions that might be worth to attend before like coming to here. So therefore, like I actually think that Pano provide a lot of different resources, whether in terms of like the competition itself, like the one that I attend during my junior year, the Warren Investment Competition, and also some activities like previously mentioned, like the podcast and stuff were like previously brought up by like Pano counselors, which sort of allow me to know what exactly colleges want, and sort of also brings in the element of like self-initiative instead of just simply like attending all those different competitions without like a clear focus. Yeah, I think the most important advice in terms of college application, like of course the first of all is like do not like really stress a lot in terms of the process, because even though like you might feel like 100 things are going on throughout the process, it actually like just sometimes you can just put your trust on like people you're working with, whether it's like the counselors outside, the counselors at school, or like your parents or teachers, to put some of the trust on them to sort of lessen your burden. And I think also a very important part of it is to sort of focus on activities in terms of depth instead of breadth. So basically, if you have like a specific angle or specific passion you want to explore, it's better to like explore one specifically and branch out from that, instead of like focusing like a lot of different activities in different areas at once, rather you can more convince your like admissions officers in terms of the specific type of person you will be like in college.